I am here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Social Security is one of the most effective programs in our nation's history, and we are at a critical crossroads to determine whether we will build upon its success. As you've pointed out, Mr. Chairman, Social Security lifts more Americans out of poverty than any other program. Since its inception, it has reduced the poverty rate for seniors from about 50% to less than 9%. Without Social Security, more than 22 million Americans, including 16 million seniors and nearly 1 million children, would have lived below the poverty line in 2020. However, despite the enormous success of Social Security, tens of millions of seniors are still struggling to get by. And many workers fear that they will not be able to afford to retire when they reach retirement age. So rather than following the plans offered by some of our Republican colleagues, and yes, we're just going to be honest about this, some of our Republican colleagues have offered plans to cut Social Security benefits. I believe we have an opportunity and an obligation to strengthen Social Security for the next century. That's why I was proud to join you, Mr. Chairman, in introducing the Social Security Expansion Act. Now, this legislation would not only keep Social Security solvent for the next 75 years, but it would also expand benefits for current and future beneficiaries, ensuring that more Americans can live and retire with dignity. It's important to remember that Social Security benefits are earned and are a promise to workers that future generations will support them just as current workers have supported generations of workers in the past. These benefits must be protected and they must be strengthened. And now I do have a couple quick questions for the witnesses. So the first is regard to the need to expand benefits for seniors. Even with Social Security, more than 5 million seniors in the U.S. live in poverty. Roughly 1 in 7 seniors rely on Social Security for more than 90% of their income. And over the past 30 years, the number of Americans who are at risk of not being able to maintain their standard of living in retirement age has increased, not decreased. So I think we must expand Social Security so that every American can retire with dignity, the dignity they have earned through their years and years of hard work. That's why the Social Security Expansion Act would raise the benefits for current and future beneficiaries and do so in a responsible way. We want to ensure that those benefits keep up with the cost of living and do so by ensuring that millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share. My question is this for Mr. Roach: why are these proposed expanded benefits so important for the millions of current and future retirees who will rely upon them?
They're very important because our seniors today are hurting. They're in very serious pain, as we discussed. They can't afford to buy sufficient food, medicine, housing. Everything has become more difficult for them. And I think what some people may not realize is that when Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill got together, we have a whole different situation now. What we have is it was a systematic extermination of defined benefit plans in this country. And through corporate bankruptcies, the people who have planned to work, who plan to retire in at a certain lifestyle, are unable to do so because of that systematic extermination of those pension plans. So, in Chairman Sanders' proposal, that would sort of bridge the gap somewhat, not totally, but it needs to be expanded. And the anxiety of not knowing what's going to happen to you in the future, this would help with that anxiety. So I think that those proposals need to be enacted as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you for that. One additional question, Mr. Chairman. We already know Social Security is a very successful program, and the Social Security Administration is actually one of the most efficient agencies in the federal government, spending less than 1% of the benefits paid each year on administration. Unfortunately, attacks on the administrative funding have made it more difficult for the Social Security Administration to provide adequate service to the American people. Since 2010, the administration's workload has grown as the number of beneficiaries has increased by 21%. During the same period, the administration's operating budget has been reduced by 17% when accounting for inflation, and its staff has shrunk by 13%. So it's unacceptable when nearly half of all calls to the Social Security Administration go unanswered. And just as your staff and my staff and the staff of our colleagues in congressional offices stand ready to support our constituents when they need help accessing the Social Security Administration, we need to support the administration through resources so they can best serve the public. Ms. Altman, why is ensuring robust funding for the Social Security Administration essential to improving constituent service to individuals, families, and communities that rely on the Social Security Administration?
Thank you so much for that question. The field offices all across the country, the 1,200 field offices in every congressional district, are really like the post offices, the face of the federal government. People go there at particular times of vulnerability. They may have just lost a spouse and have to claim survivor's benefits. They may have just found themselves so disabled that they no longer can work. They may be aging and have decided to end work. And what you want in those kinds of situations is compassionate care where the administration has the time to really work with people. The people at the Social Security Administration, the workers, are extremely dedicated to the American people. They work very, very hard. But as you've pointed out in your question, they are extremely underfunded. And it's really important to increase that funding. You all know, because your congressional services get many calls from constituents. And what we really need is to have better training for people, more hiring. We've got a lot of attrition. A lot of people are at the point where they're retiring. So absolutely, the Social Security Administration needs much more funding.
Well, Senator Padilla, I wanted to thank you for raising that issue. That is an issue above and beyond the funding of Social Security benefits. But the truth is, in Vermont, and I'm gathering in California, people are not getting the kind of help and responses from the Social Security Administration that they need. So it's a very, very important issue, and I appreciate you raising it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.